Hi everyone and welcome to another video. Today I am doing a then and now. I'm taking a card from 2016 that I made for my favorite guest design team, and I'm remaking it to something a little bit more modern, still with the same supplies. However, I always felt that I didn't do the challenge justice, so now I'm doing it again. So the challenge I got from them to make a card for the guest design team spot was Stencil Techniques. And I went all out, and I did this background where I first blended a gradient, let that dry, and then I stenciled with Versamark, the watermark ink. I heat embossed that with clear heat embossing, and then finally I went over with black ink that I then dried off from the clear embossing, giving the rays being the ones that were seen through for that gradient. Very complex, and I always felt I didn't do the challenge justice. So I have redone it today, a little bit more modern and a little bit more fun. So today I am going to do a galaxy ray stencil gradient. It's actually much easier doing it than saying it. So I'm using one of these blender brushes. I bought two just before I left for my hiatus, so I haven't used them that much. However, I need to tell you this. First, I use the Poppin Pink, and Poppin Pink I have in the new ink formula that they started to put out in the beginning of last year, beginning of 2021. And then I'm using my Grape Jelly, which I bought before they started to remake the new formula. So they are the old formula, and that goes on much more splotchy. It doesn't really mind when you do a galaxy. When you do a galaxy splotchy, it's almost a little better. However, I am going to change all of my old formula to the new formula because that is magic. It goes on like butter, and I love it. To finish off my little galaxy here, I'm using some of the black hybrid ink, because that is the ink I have in black licorice. And then I'm going on just at the edges, a little bit more at the tips of the rays, but mostly just at the edges to make kind of that galaxy nebula. Is that what it's called? Nebula? Sort of. It's this beautiful thing. I am doing kind of a splotch thing here, and I can tell you my favorite inks doesn't react really to that. So if you're using the My Favorite Things ink, don't do the water splashing. You really don't need that. But if you're using distress inks, you can use that, and you can really get a really cool effect. But this didn't really do anything more than get the ink kind of running underneath the rays, so I really don't recommend that. For the last piece, I'm taking a little bit of gesso. This is the Dina Wakley gesso, and I had it for a couple of years now. It's super good to have it in tube. The one gesso that I had in a little pot, it has dried out completely. This is still wet. And I mixed it with a little bit of water because I wanted it to be runny. I covered the rest of the card, and then I'm using a little brush and just splattering some of that gesso on to give it like a splatter of stars to finish off my little nebula. And it actually looks pretty good. I'm really chuffed about. No, chuffed is a negative word I recently discovered. I'm really happy about it. Maybe I should say that. So then I'm doing these sentiments, and I'm picking around these sentiments, and they are very thin. And with the card I made, I need a little bit more up into that left corner to make a sentiment. So I'm using this Stay Cool from my absolute favorite coffee stamp set, which again is retired. However, I have promised myself that this year I'm just going to use what I have if I want to use it. I'm not going to put myself into the box of I'm going to use new things. So I hope you forgive me for that, and maybe you have these stamp set in your stash and have been wondering what to do with them. So hopefully that could help. I really love this stamp set, and I thought it would be perfect in combination with the sentiments from the little rocket, which is also retired, because I made this the other card in 2016. That's just how it is. So I ended up saying, you're cool, you're out of this, stay cool, you're out of this world. And that is the front of the card done. I'm just kind of cleaning off my stamps. I'm on the rule of clean off and put away so that you can have the room to do the rest of the things. So here I am going to do the stamping for all of the coloring, because you know me, I need to color. That's just how it is. And I took just the stamps from that rocket stamp set. I will write the name of the stamp set in my blog post and in the description down below. However, I don't think I can find links to it because it's pretty old. And then I'm stamping one planet and a lot of stars. I ended up only using like 3 of the stars, but I did use, or 4 of the stars actually, but I did use the planet. So yeah. Another note to this, I'm coloring here in pink, and I kept this coloring of the little rocket because the shading is basically the same shading I make for the finished piece. However, after putting the card together and stepping back, I felt something was wrong. There was something that wasn't correct with the card, and I couldn't really put my finger on it. And then I took the card out to my boyfriend, and he looked at it and was like, it should be more darker up in the corner where the rocket is. And he was correct. He was completely correct. He's not a crafter. He is not a like creative person, but he saw it directly that there was something missing. So I actually ended up coloring this rocket in 2 other colors, and it ended up being gray, 2 different tones of gray that I made it in, and it looked beautiful. I really liked it. I loved the card even more after that. My favorite is the new card. I just want to say that, but I would love to hear from you which card is your favorite, the old one or the new one. For the stars, I'm actually just coloring 1 layer because there's actually one of those things that I've been thinking about, is that when you are creating scenes or anything, if you add the same amount of details to all of your kind of pieces of it, you are saying that all of them are kind of valued the same, are on the same level, and then you will not really have a depth to the image. While if you do as I did with the stars here and just color them in a single flat lay color, the little rocket will stand out so much more against those little stars, and those little stars will end up kind of falling to the background and just being details. And that was just as I wanted it to be. So I'm trying some new things. I've been arting for 8 months, so I've been learning a little bit more. I haven't colored with Copic, so not so much there, but I've learned a little bit more on how to look at compositions and hopefully I can take that into my cards. And as you see in that little bowl, it's actually for like sushi, soy when you eat sushi, like little plastic bowls. I had them forever. They're awesome. I have a couple of those little sequins. I was thinking about kind of making a star sky. However, I felt they took over too much. The depth of them, the glitter of them made them look more like the focal image than the focal image. So I ended up just using 3 little stars, and that balanced out the card pretty good, except for that really bright pink rocket. It just doesn't fit there. And you will see at the end of this video the difference. You will really see it. So I lined these little star-ups. I wanted the star to not be pointing exactly in the same direction. That was why I kind of tried with that last little star. But yeah, that is the front. So let's jump into the back side. I want to do a lot more inside. I want to do more insides. As you see here, I'm having some trouble with my glue pen. It's not running out, is that it's been standing around for 8 months, so something is stuck in it. The glue is very liquidy, so there's something stuck in the nib, so I'm going to try to pry that off a little bit carefully and clean the nib, and maybe I have a perfect glue pen again. I really love the glue in it. It is wet enough to be able to reposition things a little bit, but dry enough not to crinkle my images. Here I'm going to do a sentiment, and I can tell you, when after I stamped this, I should have stopped. Really, I should have stopped. But you know, hindsight is 2020. This was a perfect sentiment. It is straight, it is beautiful, it is crisp. And then I decided to try to make some kind of 3D effect with a black ink, and while I'm stamping this, I realized that the purple was very dark, so instead of getting a 3D effect, it was not readable anymore. So I tried a whole bunch of different things, and I ended up doing the black being Versafine Onyx black, because it was the blackest ink I had, and then I did an off stamp with the purple, so that I got a very, very light outline. You can't really see it on the video, but you can see it in the photos a little bit better. So if you look at it, you will see it has a slight light purple, but really I should just have made a purple strip here, and I should have made the strip go all the way out to the edge and cut it around at the whole planet, and then it would have looked a little bit better. Or just put it up on, yeah, I can't have it on 3D things, it's inside. Anyhow, I also added a little star to kind of build up that corner, and that almost makes the card ready. Now we're going to do the last thing, which took a time to do. I did 2 different rockets, one with a little bit more pink, and then I did what Christopher said, just added kind of a little black gray one, and that balanced out the card perfectly. I already prayed that off. It wasn't that easy to remove it. I was very careful, but I did rip the paper or the cardstock a little bit. But as I am putting just the same size piece on top of it, you will not see it, and the recipient will not see it. So I'm just replacing it with my new little rocket, and the card is done. I really enjoyed making this card. I felt I got a little bit of a revenge over the old card. I always felt that I didn't do the guest design team spot justice. I wished I'd done something like this. But yeah, now I've done it. I've done the card again, and I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please tell me which card was your favorite, the then or the now card. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It means a lot, and I get to know that you actually liked the card. If you want to see more like this and isn't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much. And I'll see you next Wednesday at 3 p.m.